Hey guys, I'm Jacinta Robinson and welcome to the Fearlss podcast, where I interview incredible athletes or specialists in the area of health. On the podcast today, we are on a Zoom call, so bear with me with the sound, but I sit down and speak to this incredible lady who's lost over 25 kilos. We speak about her journey. We also talk about nutrition and tips and tricks on how she lost the weight. I'd like to welcome Lara Gya. Welcome to the Zoom podcast, Lara.
Hi.
So this is incredible, man. You've lost 25 kilos. That's insane. How did you do it?
So it all kind of started when I just hit my heaviest, and I was just really unhappy with my body. And then I just decided things needed to change. So I actually got back from a big holiday in the States with my partner at the time. And so I came back, hit my heaviest, and I was just so unhappy with myself. I was just mortified that I'd gotten myself to, a certain weight. And then I just had a goal set in place. I wanted to lose this certain amount of weight. I wanted to finally feel good about myself. And so, I started to train, I started to eat well, and then that's when I noticed the weight started slowly dropping off. It wasn't a change overnight. It took a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and it took a long time to lose about 25 kilos. It probably took me about 1 to 2 years to lose 25 kilos. So it was just through nutrition and exercise. Beforehand, I was the type of girl who goes through Macca's on the way to uni, get like McFlurries, get Big Macs, everything like that. I had no idea about nutrition though. I had no idea. Like I thought if I ate a block of chocolate and I went for a walk or a run, I'd burn it off, but it doesn't work like that. So no, I learned so much about myself along the way, and I would never look back. And now I'm in the health and fitness industry.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. It's definitely a huge achievement, and I think you definitely did it a healthy way over a long period of time. So take us back, Lara. So you said that you were your biggest. What is your biggest? What were you weighing?
It was about 80 kilos.
Yeah.
So then you're just over 80 kilos. So I hit on the scales and I was just like, oh my goodness, what the heck? And I'm pretty got a small frame, I'm 168 centimeters tall, and I was just so unhappy with my body. And then, I was just mortified. I was looking at myself in the mirror and I couldn't even stand to look at myself. And no, I wouldn't dress. I'd try and hide my weight. Because now that I say, and when everyone knows that I've lost that much weight, they're like, were you really that big though? And I was like, yeah, I just hid it really well. I used to wear really baggy clothes, trackies all the time, big baggy jumpers, everything like that. So I was just so unhappy with myself.
Yeah. And how did you get to that point? I think there's a lot of people that are in your boat where it's consistency over time of a particular habit. And they do wake up one day and go, oh my God, I don't love myself anymore. They look at themselves in the mirror and they're not happy. So how did that happen for you?
It was when, like I said, I was in America for about 4 months backpacking. And there was just, when I got back, I was having fun and everything, eating, drinking, enjoying a holiday. And when I got back, I looked at myself in the mirror and was like, I can't even look at myself. And, I always had struggles with my body, even growing up. I always used to be known as the fat sibling, or the sibling that fat. So I used to be called names. I used to be bullied. And I was like, you know what? Now that I've done this holiday, I actually want to do something for myself. I want to finally be happy in myself. I finally want to be confident. And, I saw all these girls. It was when social media was Instagram was first popping up. I saw all these girls doing bodybuilding competitions and I was like, no, I actually want to do that. And someone told me I couldn't do it. And I was like, well, stuff you, I'm going to do it. You watch me do this. And I did it. I lost weight and I did it and I compete, and I never looked back, and I never had any regrets doing it.
Yeah. And so what was the bodybuilding competition that you went into?
So the first one I ever went into was called ICN. It's in Australia, so it's Australia known. And I did the bikini division, and that was my first ever competition. And I ended up winning all 5 of my categories.
Oh, wow.
I took out overall bikini champion in Melbourne. And then I actually went on to nationals that year too. And then I placed top 10. So
wow. So to get to that point of competing, had you lost the 25 kilos, or was this during that period?
So how I first got into competing. So I had the goal of losing weight. So I ended up losing about 5 to 10 kilos by myself. And then I kind of hit a lull and I really struggled to lose that extra weight. So I ended up having the goal. I saw these girls on Instagram competing and I was like, okay, I want that to be my next goal. So next thing I did was, found a trainer, found a coach, and he kind of helped me through. And then that's when my goal of, competing came into place. So then I had to lose an extra, 15 kilos to kind of get to stage.
Yeah. And during that period, what did you learn? Like, what sort of foods did you learn about?
So I didn't really know about, like, I'm a nutritionist now. So looking back and knowing how much information I didn't know, it's actually so silly how much common information I just didn't know. So, just like sugars and like they're not good for losing weight, eating protein, eating carbs, eating fat. I learned like so much. Like if I was to open a nutrition book back then, I would have been like, what the heck? But now I can just look at it. I'm like, I know it at like the back of my hand, but I knew absolutely nothing about nutrition. I told you, like I used to eat a block of Top Deck a day and I used to go for a run because I used to think I'd burn it off. And I used to be like, okay, calories in, okay, I'm going to go for a run and try and burn 2,000 calories. But like, it doesn't work like that. It's just, I just learned so much about, eating well, eating moderately. So like I'd have 5 meals a day instead of just like binging out on all this food, because for me back then I was such a stress eater and now I take my stress out on exercise. So that was kind of a really big change for me as well. Just finding myself and finally becoming happy in myself.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. So how did you discover like that you were a stress eater? Because I'm sure there's lots of people listening now and they're like, oh, is that me? Like, do I eat and cover up a stress or an emotion, or like, how did you figure that out? Was that just over time, or?
It was over, I always knew I kind of get really bad anxiety too, which I know that as well. And I always, especially through high school, I had a lot of problems like growing up with family. Like I always used to take my anger out and just kind of eat just crap. I used to just go through drive-thrus. I used to just go to the supermarkets, just get all this crap and just take my feelings out when I was just like, angry, sad, and everything. I just used to eat. And then, when I got back and when I realized that it was a problem and I started to lose weight, I realized that, I was stress eating. I was taking my anger out on food. It's not until you get put out of that situation that you realize what you were doing. And, I look back, I'm like, crap, like it was so bad. And looking back at myself, I kind of felt sorry for myself because no one, like I didn't know. I was just so young that I didn't know that it was such a thing. Even so many of my clients at the moment, because I'm a nutritionist, like they come to me, they're like, I'm so stressed with all this isolation, being in isolation, not knowing what's going to happen. They're like, I'm finding myself stress eating and binging out on food. And, I give them the tips that I took on board after on my weight loss journey, find other hobbies. Like for me, exercising was my stress relief. When I felt like a binge, I'd go for a walk. Things like that. I think you just need to kind of be put out of the situation to kind of look at it. And, people in that situation now, I just want to help them so much because I look at it, I'm like, I was like that person. Same with weight loss. Like I look at people who want to lose weight and I'm like, no, I was that person. I actually want to help you because no one helped me. No one pushed me forward. I had to hit my rock bottom. So when people come to me, I'm always willing to help. And like, me and Pete do seminars, we do this and that. And I just love talking to people, love hearing their stories. And it's just so interesting to me.
Yeah. So talking about helping people, helping women, I'm guessing that's more your tailored industry is the women. Yeah. What's the common thing that you see with women? Is it that they've got like they're a mom and they're busy and they don't put themselves first, or is it just that they're uneducated, or what do you feel are the common things that you see?
The most common thing that I see in a lot of my clients and a lot of people approaching me is like women aged between about 18 to 35, just wanting to lose weight, wanting to tone up certain bits, wanting to, eat well and lose their stomach, everything like that. Just weight loss is the main thing at the moment. I do get a lot of mums coming to me and say, I don't have a lot of time to make this, this, and this. So then that when meal prep comes in and I kind of cater towards their, kind of make meals the same, everything like that. But I do get majority of my clients are weight loss clients.
Yeah. And what's your recommendations for people that is like on a weight loss journey? Do you have any top 5 tips or something?
Yeah, so I always say to everyone who wants to lose weight, I was like, have a goal. I think that's the most important thing, is to have a goal, because without a goal, you don't have anything to work towards. Especially for me, I always need goals set in place. So, even now it's just like before isolation, it was, improving my strength, everything like that. But I think goals are super important. It also puts you on a time frame. And I also recommend to a lot of people to tell people about your goals. So for me, when I wanted to lose weight, I was telling everyone, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight, I want to get to a bikini like competition. About 90% of people threw it back in my face and they said, well, no, you can't actually do that. And you know what? I proved them wrong. And that was probably today, I think that's probably the biggest thing in my life that kind of makes me happy. It's like, I proved all these people wrong. Stuff you, I can do it. Like, it gives you self-belief as well. So, telling people about your goals and also just having goals puts you on a time frame as well.
It gives you inner drive as well.
Yeah, 100%. It gives you every single bit of drive too. And, you wake up in the morning with that feeling of, yes, I need to do this. I'm going to accomplish this. Everything like that. Like even me, day to day, I have like little goals set in place. So, whether it's today, I'd have like a list of 5 things I wanted to achieve. So like in the morning, I wake up with a purpose as well, which I think is super important.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So take us to like with training, right, for women. Do you believe that there's a certain type of training? Should they be running? Should they be hip training? Should they be weight training? Like I know there's a huge craze on women doing weights and then women thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get bulky. And then there's the craze on, I want to get fit. What do you see works the most with the ladies that you train?
In all honesty, I'm a really big believer in doing something that you love. So for me, I fell in love with weightlifting and then I fell in love with F45. So for me, that's why I do both. But I know that for some people, they hate doing that type of stuff. They hate doing with lifting weights, everything like that. But in all honesty, I find that a combination of training at F45 and like doing HIIT training as well as weightlifting is so good for your body. Doing that combination, it helps you build lean muscle, also gets your endurance up, gets your strength up. And I just find that probably the best combination you can have. Yes, like if you enjoy boxing, do boxing. I love boxing as well, but I don't see myself doing that long term. For me, something that I love to do is, lifting weights and F45. And I know that I can do that long term because I enjoy it. It's not like I dread going to the gym. So for me, going to the gym is not a chore. Like I do it every single day if I could. Like I enjoy it and that's what keeps me going. And my advice is to find something you enjoy because, every single exercise will help you lose weight, right? It's all about being in a calorie deficit and looking at your nutrition. So if you enjoy an exercise, do it. But, I do believe like looking at that weightlifting and doing a combination of like high intensity stuff is probably the best for weight loss.
And so what do you tell people, like how do you tell girls to wrap their head around they're not going to get huge from weights?
Oh my God, I get the question asked all the time. Girls are like, aren't you going to get bulky? But you don't. There's so many girls that are living proof of this. Like you will not, if anything, lifting weights will make you leaner. It helps you build a lean muscle mass, helps you burn fat. It's just, there's so much living proof out there. Even I'm living proof. Like I'm not bulky. I'm just I'm just normal, but it doesn't, it's your nutrition. If you eat in a calorie surplus, obviously you're going to put on weight, everything like that. So it's just got to do with your nutrition. But if anything, lifting weights makes you lean and strong. And plus I love the kind of concept behind it is it makes you feel strong as well. Like not only mentally, but physically.
I think that's a huge thing. I think women do want to feel strong and they want to feel it helps with what you said, like your confidence, and it gives you belief in that when you can lift that heavy weight and you can do it, you're like, yeah, man, I'm awesome. And I think it's such a great feeling to keep motivating you and keep pushing you through.
Yeah. 100%.
So tell us about with your like training for your competitions, obviously, what did you learn from that? Because I've done it WBFF and like it's very interesting going in the competition and staying super strict. Like were you strict throughout that whole period? And then did you after the comp, did you go to a point where you're like, oh my God, I was so strict that I rebound from that? Like did you experience any of that?
Yeah, so I've competed probably for the last 4 years and every competition prep is completely different. So the first one, I had a coach behind me and I was completely strict. Like that means eating absolutely nothing out of my meal plan, training to like time, like weighing everything to the single gram. And I realized in that competition prep that, you know, looking back now, I lost a lot. Like I missed out on a lot of things. I got really bad anxiety. I was scared to, you know, eat out. I was scared to like socialize. I was scared to be thrown out of just my self routine, that I missed out on a lot of things. Like, you know, I missed out on best friends' birthdays, I missed out on this, I missed out on that. And then, you know, I kind of realized that in about the second, third year, and I was so strict in the first competition prep that yes, I did rebound. I wanted to eat everything in sight after. So then I put on about 10 kilos after that comp prep. And I just rebounded. I wanted to eat everything. And then the second comp prep, I was a bit more better. You know, I still was a bit strict, but I was a bit more lenient. Then the third time when I started to do IFBB, I did my own competition prep. I did my own nutrition because I'm a nutritionist. And, you know, I did it my way. And I, you know, went out for dinners. I was smart. I, you know, socialized. I still did this, still did that. And I included food in there that I wanted to eat. You know, I wouldn't have a chocolate bar every day, but I would have a treat as a chocolate bar. So I included food. So then when I finished my competition, I didn't completely rebound. I still had that balance. I still could maintain it. I still was in love with my training. I still wanted to train, and I still loved eating the same foods that I wanted to eat. So for me, every competition prep was different. But the last year or two, you know, I really learned a lot about myself, and I really learned what I was missing out on. And for me, I would take those comp preps back, the first two that I did, but at the same time, I learned a lot about myself that, you know, like, crap, yes, I did miss out on that. I did miss out on this, but also I learned that I would never do that type of competition prep again. Like I would never do that to myself. I missed out on so many things, but now, you know, I love the balance. For me, people look at me, they're like, how do you have such a balanced lifestyle? It's like, because I enjoy it. I enjoy eating good foods. I enjoy training. I enjoy doing this and I enjoy doing that. That's why I can comp prep, you know, back to back. That's why I can do 1 year on end and another year on end. And that's why I can keep on living it, because I can do it and I enjoy it. And it's not a big, you know, it's not a big task for me.
And I think that's really important, what you were saying, like with the different comps. I think that people can relate that to diets. Like they will try one diet, go super strict, and whether it be a shake diet or whatever it might be, and they will do that, and then they rebound, and then they get in this vicious cycle of trying something, and then that doesn't work, and they rebound and they overeat. And I think that's really important. What you said is that it comes down to the pure fact that it's being smart about your choices every single day, but it's not saying, no, you can't have that. Because I think when you say no, that's just when you kind of like...
Yeah. It's like if someone told me I couldn't eat chocolate, I'd want to eat chocolate because they're telling me what to. Whereas if the chocolate's right there and I know I can have it, I'm not going to eat it as much. You know, so many of my clients, they say to me, you know, I'm allowed to have a cheat meal, I'm allowed to have this and that. I was like, eat what you want, but stick to your plan. You know, if you're going to completely restrict yourself, you're only going to rebound worse. That's why I say to a lot of my, you know, clients to make sure you include the things that you like. You know, if you like chocolate, eat chocolate. Just don't have about 5 blocks of it. You know, just have piece when you want it. You know, if you like bread, eat bread, but you know, don't completely deprive yourself of the things that you like, because then when you finally get to have it, you're going to binge out on it and you're just going to undo everything.
Absolutely.
Plus you want it to be a long-term lifestyle. Like I want to keep on eating chocolate like in 10 years, so I may as well eat it now. Like, you know, like you want it to be a long-term change, not a short-term fix.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I see it heaps in the industry. Plus myself as well. So
yeah, it's like it's everywhere, and you know, I've only kind of learned that in the last 2 years. You know, I've kind of only learned that I can introduce balance, that I can mentally switch myself to say, yes, I can have this and I can have that. Before it was a total battle, because you know, we always label foods as good or bad, and I finally learned that, you know, no food is good or bad. Only if you have a lot of it is it completely bad. So, you know, you can have these foods and you can live a healthy lifestyle. Like I live a completely healthy lifestyle, and I was eating Easter eggs on the weekend. Like, you know, like I still am a normal person.
Yeah. And I think that's, really good. A really good point that you're saying there, for other people to relate to, because if you get stuck in that cycle, man, it's hard to get out.
100%. And you know, it's only going to do you worse. Like if you completely deprive yourself of chocolate, then when you finally get to have it, you're probably going to have about 10 blocks of it and not want to let it go.
And then be so depressed about yourself that you've eaten that much, and then then you go train and smash yourself because you're upset that you ate it, and then you're sore.
It's just a vicious cycle. It's just so bad. Like, I've been in that cycle, and I can look back and be like, oh, like crap. But now I look at it, I'm like, I had a piece of chocolate, whatever.
Yeah. So tell me about training for competitions. Like, were you on a strict regime for that as well as your food, or were you kind of?
Yeah, so training for me, even in comp prep, always remains consistent. So I always do, you know, for me, training I love. So I always do my F45 training, I always do my weight training. So for me, that doesn't really change. What changes is my nutrition. So obviously when I get more into comp prep and I get like, you know, 6 weeks out, I start to cut my food and be more in a deficit. But for me, I always weight train. You know, I'm always trying to work on my glutes. I always do legs. They're the main parts I want to like improve on, especially for competing in IFBB. Yes, reps may change. I might go like a hypertrophy session like for a few weeks and then kind of drop back down. But I always try and aim for, you know, like about 10 to 12 reps and, you know, working each body part, seeing which body part I need to focus on. Also love doing my F45s, keeps me motivated, keeps me active, also good just socially as well. I love doing it. And yeah, my training doesn't really change too much. It's my nutrition, you know, just cutting back on carbs, cutting back on fats, because as soon as like I hit like a certain deficit, my body just starts losing weight, especially if you do it over a long period of time, your body just, you know, loses weight over that time.
Yeah, and I think the earlier that you can start on the bandwagon of the fitness journey and eating as healthy as you can, I think it makes it a lot easier over a period of time, because what you said, the body gets used to it and it adapts as well. So tell us, are you going to compete again? Like, what's your goals?
Well, I want to. Well, at the moment, I do not know what's happening. But I was looking at doing to be honest, I was looking at doing the Arnold this year, but I recently moved to Sydney last year with Pete in November. And I just kind of told myself that, you know, yes, I do want to do the Arnolds, but at the same time, I want to adjust to my new life in Sydney. You know, I moved jobs, I moved away from my family, I started brand new, I wanted to make friends. Like, I started new there, and I didn't want to put the pressure of competing on top of myself as well. Like, you know, over summer, I made so many friends, I went out, I socialized, I got a new job, everything like that. So that's what I wanted to do and focus on was myself. So I knew that when competing, because competing is a bit of stress as well at the same time, you know, you have to look after your body, you have to cut foods, you have to do this, you do that. And I knew that over summer, I wanted to enjoy myself, put myself out there and just really be in Sydney, because that's why I moved, you know, I moved for Pete. And yeah, so I do want to compete, but at this stage, I don't know what's happening with the isolation stuff, but I definitely want to compete again, whether it's later this year or next year, I will be back on stage.
Oh, awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing you on stage.
Thank you.
Sure. So tell us about, like, because people hear about competing, but what's actually involved? Like, how much time are we talking a day that you would spend on training and meal prepping and stuff like, because like maybe there's someone listening that is a corporate worker or whoever, and they're like, oh, this sounds like me. I definitely want to do that. Like what's actually involved?
So for competing, the first thing I always say is you have to be 100% in it. There's no half-assing anything. If you want to compete, you need to completely dedicate yourself. That means, you know, meal prepping, that means working out, getting your workouts, that means putting yourself first. So if you can really do that, really put yourself first, really focus on your training and your nutrition, then 100% do it. For me, when I compete, I always put, it sounds selfish, but you put yourself first, right? Because, at the end of the day, when you step on that stage, you say to yourself, okay, and if you didn't place, you placed it all. Like, I gave it my all. I prepped on my meals. I trained my freaking ass off. I did this and did that. There's nothing I can look back on my competition prep and be like, well, I should have changed that. So number one, you have to be completely dedicated. For me, I love to train. So I do like my 45-minute F45 sessions most mornings, probably 5 times a week. And then I'd weight train about 5 to 6 times a week. So in my weight training, it would be about an hour, maybe just over if I film it for social media. So probably train about an hour 15 on my weight training. And then F45 is just like 45 minutes. And then just, meal prepping, making sure my meals are on point is probably just like another hour and a half throughout the day. But I still, kept up my day job. I was still at uni when I was competing in like my first, second, third year. I was doing my bachelor in biomedical science. I was doing my master's in nutrition, so I still was a functional person. I just kind of had to always make sure had to be really organized. I had to like pre-plan everything and just, you know, make sure I was really on point all the time. But, you know, competing is great. If you want to do it, make sure you're 110% in. If you, you know, kind of want it I don't know, don't do it. Don't waste your time. Especially because, you know, what if you get in 4 weeks of, you know, complete meal prepping, exercising, and you realize it's not for you? What I say to a lot of people who want to compete, especially a lot of my clients, is, okay, you want to compete, why don't you put yourself through a mock comp prep just for 4 weeks? You know, see what you need to do, see what your training needs to be like, and see how much commitment you can actually give yourself. So I always recommend that to a lot of my clients, and, you know, they see either they want to do it or they don't want to do it. And I always say, for people who want to compete, what are your reasons for competing? So for me, my one was for weight loss and always wanting to improve my body. But for some, it might just be, you know, I want to get revenge on my ex-boyfriend or stuff like that. I'm like, well, don't waste your time competing. You know, you're just in it for the wrong reasons. So you need to be in it for the right reasons. You need to know your worth, and you just need to be in it to win it, pretty much. Like, in it for yourself.
And how important do you think it is to get a coach?
For if you're starting out, 100% get a coach. For me, I had been competing for about 2 years, and I was like, okay, I kind of know how my body works. I know how it's structured. But even now when I compete, you know, I do have someone looking over me, although I do have my nutrition, because you always second guess yourself. No, I'm a big one for that. I always like look at myself and be like, is my body changing? Is my body doing this? Is my body doing that? You know, a second eye is always good. Even if you don't have a complete coach on board, you know, Pete's great because he does a lot of like, he's a PT as well. So he can tell me, he's very honest with me. But even like, you know, I've got someone else to look over what I do. Having a coach is super important though, especially if you're a first timer. You definitely want to get someone, because, you know, you don't want to go in thinking you'll wing it and then nothing works, especially when it comes to peak week and your manipulations for the body, everything like that. Just making sure everything goes to plan, especially comp day. I'll just have someone who knows their stuff. And then, you know, maybe the second, third time when you compete, you probably just know it yourself because you know how your body works. So I definitely recommend getting a coach on first.
And I think that's super important, like what you're saying, especially on the day, the comp day, the foods and how your body reacts. Like I know, like I totally did it wrong. Like I had food at the wrong time. I was a little bit more bloated than what I should be. And I think that can be quite challenging if you don't have someone guiding you. Yeah,
100%. And someone just to look at how your body's changing throughout the day. I think that's super important. You know, sometimes you hold a lot of water, you're stressed, you know, sometimes like you need to fill out with carbs, everything like that. So it's all just dependent on the day and on the you know, if someone's watching over you. So it's always good to have that person there.
Yeah. And then like during because you've done it many times now, when you go to do it, do you still have mentally challenging days?
100%. I have them even now I have them now. But yeah, you're never going to wake up feeling 100% like every day. You're always going to have your days where you're just like, can't be bothered doing this. But, you know, having people behind you who really believe in you really helps as well. Like for me, I'm very fortunate that I've got a really good support team. Like my sister's always supported me since day one. She's been my number one supporter. She'd always train with me, always help me. If I couldn't meal prep one day because I was late working or with a client, she would help me. So having people around you to support you is probably the biggest thing. But you're always going to wake up with days where you hate, like you can't be bothered, where you're just tired. I was waking up every day. Like I remember when I was prepping for Arnold's last year, I was just tired. I'm exhausted. I want it to be over. And then when you get to comp day, you're like, yes, I'm here. I've done it. You know, it's the best feeling in the world stepping on stage, and you get off and you're like, I'm going to do this again. And all that worry goes away, you know?
I love the whole, like you step on stage and the lights are beaming in your eyes.
I'm like, yes, I'm here, guys. That's what I've been working on.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, it's definitely a very an emotional feeling as well, because you've had that build up of emotions during that whole period. 100%. I think that's really cool. Now, I'd love to know from obviously a training perspective, with your calories, were you doing days that you would have like high carb days for your, like when you're specifically trying to grow your muscles, and then have low carb days? Like how did your food work, or how does your food now, like you going into now, you got a bit more experience with the nutrition, how would you kind of program yourself leading into?
Yeah, sure. So with my nutrition, so obviously my off season I eat up. So I always manipulate my carbs. So my protein pretty much stays consistent. So my protein is about 150 to 160 grams of protein. That's a macro. And for me, I love my carbs, so I just increase them. I'm not really big fat. I don't like fats. I just, I like avocados and nuts, but like you don't get enough fats from them to like, unless you're eating like 3 avocados a day. So I'd rather just eat carbs because I just love carbs. So I just always increase my carbs. So like, probably now I'm not really macro counting at the moment, but usually in my off season I eat, around 3,000. Number one, I burn a lot of food. Number two, my BMR is quite high. And number three, I can get away with eating a lot of food. So yeah, I just kind of manipulate my carbs pretty much. So obviously when I jump into my comp preps, my carbs come right down. So probably jump them down to about 180, like 180, 200, just depending on like, how I'm feeling and how much I was eating beforehand. And then off season, I just bump them up to like 300, probably over.
Yeah. And so do you notice do you scale that in? Like, do you slowly drop down the carbs or do you just?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So after I jump off stage, so I slowly introduce carbs again. So it'd go up in increments. So this is what I say to a lot of my comp prep clients as well, is to monitor what you're doing. So you pretty much want to reverse diet. So for me, reverse dieting entails, increasing like my carbs, maybe about 20 grams of carbs a week, 10 to 20. See what my body's doing, take photos, see what my weight's doing. If it's not doing much, then I bump it up again. I wouldn't completely go 180 to about 350 because then my body would be like, whoop, and I'll probably hold a lot of weight, or you would hold a lot of weight. But I still introduce like cheat meals in there and stuff. I always go for pizza after I finish comp, but then I get straight back on the bandwagon. Still prep my meals, just eat up. And when I'm hungry, I eat. When I feel like chocolate, I eat chocolate, just stuff like that.
I definitely didn't do that. I binged and I was like, okay.
But like everyone does it different, and it's kind of understanding your body as well. So for me, I know that it's like if I was to eat like over like 3,000 calories straight from 180, your body's just going to go into shock and hold a lot of water and also body fat as well. But yeah, reverse dieting is so important, especially when people come out of like a diet phase, 8-week challenges, everything like that. I say to so many of them, please reverse diet, because as soon as you go back to what you're eating beforehand, I don't know if you're eating like Macca's every day or something like that, and if you go back to eating Macca's every day, of course you're going to put the weight on. But so if you slowly introduce these foods and kind of stick to what you were before, like you're not going to put on the weight as quick. That's why I always say it's a lifestyle change. It's not a diet. Like for me, the whole reason why I can keep weight off and why I enjoy it is because it's a lifestyle for me. It's not a crazy diet, which I want to do, Monday to Friday. Like it's something I enjoy.
Yeah. And I think if you look at anyone in the fitness industry, you can see that's why they've got a great physique and they look amazing. And it's because that's their life. It's not something that they're just doing for a specific amount of time. So
100%. Like I'm like dancing around in my like F45 and things like I'm like, I just enjoy it so much. Just like whatever.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think I think definitely you have to enjoy what you're doing for training, because otherwise on those hard days, it's hard to get out of bed.
You ain't getting out of bed.
That's it. So tell us about what would be like your advice overall of everything that you have learned. What would be your top tips for people out there that are on a weight loss journey?
Yeah, I always say, and I live behind this quote. And I used to have this quote on the back of my phone when I first started my weight loss journey, and it said, "Believe in yourself, you are unstoppable." And I think you just need that self-belief, because if you don't believe that you can lose weight, then who's going to believe you? You need to have that self-motivation, that self-worth, that drive, that goal. So my, ultimate quote, and something I've stood by for my whole journey, is believing in yourself. I think that's super important. Also just having goals, set in place and everything like that. But believing in yourself is the most important thing, because if you don't believe, then who's going to believe in you?
Yeah, I love that. I think that's really beautiful. I have a tattoo and it's dream, believe, achieve. So
really? I love that one too. So many good quotes.
Which is really cool for me. Everything I ever dreamt about, I woke up, I was like, I believe that I can do it. And then I've gone and achieved it. And I think like what you said, when you believe in yourself, then you attract that. It comes into your life because you're so driven on that journey to get to that point. And I think that's a really powerful quote to live by. So that's cool. Good on you.
Yeah, I really like
But tell us what, moving forward now, like I know like with like everything that's going on, it's a bit crazy. What do you do day to day for your training that that might have like advice for people that are listening in that are like, oh man, I'm stuck at home. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, so like during the day, so I actually got into a really healthy routine. So for me, isolation, I'm a really routine type of girl before this. So I'd always wake up, go to F45, do my training, everything like that. And for me at the moment, it's all about finding what works and healthy habits. So I always do a morning session in the morning, go for a walk with my girlfriend, and then I'll just come down, have breakfast, and I'm a nutritionist, so I'd always kind of like see my clients, respond to emails, do some social media content. And then I've got some weights out the back as well of my house. So I just, try and do like my normal split, like shoulders, back, barbell, like legs. I know it's hard having limited equipment, but you got to make do. You still got to enjoy it. I enjoy it. Sometimes I just make up really weird exercises. And then, just kind of chill. I find that now I have a lot more downtime. I find now I'm a lot more relaxed as well because I'm on no one's time frame. So before I was always like, oh, I have to be here, here, here. Whereas now I'm like, I don't have to be anywhere. Like I can take my time doing this. I can take my time doing that. Doing things that I like to do, spending time with my family, watching TV. I never used to watch TV before. And now I'm, on Netflix and, just more relaxed. It is a big change for me, but I really think you need to find healthy habits. So way that's, I always say if you're an early riser before isolation, still get up early in the morning and still do your workouts. If you like to stay up late, still stay up late. Just find things that work for you and that keep you motivated, and just really adopt those healthy habits. I think it's really important this time.
Yes, and I think exactly what you said, keep you on routine, because eventually we're going to go back to what we were doing.
Yeah.
So if you get out of a routine, you're like, oh man, it makes it so much harder to get back into that routine.
Like I'm still waking up at 6:37 every morning when I don't have to, but I just do. I'm just like, bing, time to like start my day.
Yeah, no, that's good. You're in that habit.
There's no break in this habit, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, but it's fine. And it takes me positive, especially eating healthy, still training, exercising, talking to my friends, socializing through that aspect. It makes me happy. And, I want to do things that make me happy. If I was to, I was telling my sister, if I was to stay in bed, sleep until like 11 a.m., have breakfast, be a slob, wear my pajamas around the house, I'll just be unhappy. Like I'd be like, what am I doing? Whereas like, I'm in routine, get up, have a shower, do my makeup, still put effort in, even though I'm at home, it's my routine. It keeps me happy. It keeps me positive. It's good.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And I'm sure we can all adapt that as well. I love having routine as well. I feel I'm a bit lost and I get nothing done if I'm out of that routine. So having something in place is important. Yeah, well, it's been so lovely having you on the podcast, Lara. Now, before we go, is there anything else that you would like to say to the listeners?
Stay positive, be active, and be smart.
I love it. Oh, that's awesome. All right, well, thank you for coming on.
Hey, thank you so much.